So let's talk about the gift-giving season with that narcissist in your life, or maybe it's just a red flag that, you know, you're kind of suspecting that person, maybe a narcissist. This is the red flag, that these are the red flags that'll tell you, yeah, this definitely is a person that maybe I don't want to be spending the rest of my life with. So the first thing that they might give you is exercise equipment. I actually had one of my cousins, her now ex-husband, gave her an abdominizer for one of her birthdays. This is a long time ago. I don't even think that thing exists anymore. But if they're giving you some kind of exercise equipment, then they might be telling you, you know, maybe you could look a little bit better. Maybe you need to lose a little bit of weight, something like that. It's like a subtle little message. It's like, here's a gift, and also a dig and a devalue. So, if you're getting some kind of a gym membership or a Peloton or something like that, maybe it's exactly what you wanted, but also maybe it isn't. And maybe it's a little subtle devaluing dig that the narcissist is giving to you. And if you want to know about narcissistic devaluing, check out my video on narcissistic devaluing, and you can learn all about the different phases of a narcissistic relationship there. And the second gift from that precious little gift giver is tickets to a concert that is their favorite artist, or maybe it's a gift certificate to their favorite restaurant, not yours, or something around, you know, here's a gift for you, I get to come with you, and it's really my favorite thing to do. Something like that. So, you know, if you get something like that, it's sort of like this subtle, you know, I don't really want to have to give you a gift. I mean, narcissists don't really like having to give gifts. They sort of feel like you're making me do something that I don't want to have to do. You know, remember that they're 2-year-olds in adult bodies. So they feel obstinate, you know, I don't want to have to do this. Nobody else should have anything. I should be the one with the attention. I should be the one who, you know, who's getting gifts. I don't want to have to do anything for anybody else. If I have to do something for someone else, it's going to be the bare minimum. And it's going to be, you know, as little skin off my back as possible. So why not give a gift that I at least get some benefit out of too? So that's kind of like the thinking around that. And number 3 is framed photos of themselves. And, you know, this kind of goes in, it helps them in a couple of different ways. One is, obviously, you would want a framed photo of just them. But number 2 is then you have to display it. And then everybody gets to see how much you adore and adulate and love this person. So it kind of is like a twofold gift that way, because now you get this picture of this person and you have to display it, and everybody else gets to see a picture of this person out in your house or your room or wherever as well. And number 4 is something off the sale rack or the clearance rack, because remember, as I said, they don't really want to have to give you a gift. Like, this is something that they know they have to do. So they, you know, if it's a birthday or it's a holiday or something like that, then they'll do the bare minimum. They know they have to show up with something because they don't want to look bad. But if they can get something that looks like it was expensive, like it came from the right store, the right place, but they actually didn't have to really spend that much money for it, that's even better, because now they kind of delight in that a little bit. Like, look at this. Like, I don't have to really spend that much money on this person, and I get credit for giving a gift. You know, they don't think about the fact, like, oh, let me find something that's really going to make this person happy. Let me listen to what it was that you know, that they loved. Oh, I heard them mention one time that they really liked this thing. Let me go back and find it. This will make them happy. There's none of that. They don't get any pleasure from seeing others happy. Like, that's the last thing that they want. They don't want to see anybody else happy because they just want that satisfaction for themselves. And if you think narcissists are so selfish, give me a so selfish in the comments. So the next thing that they might give you is something that isn't even in your size. And, you know, it might be a piece of clothing or something like that, but it's not your size. And this might happen because, first of all, they maybe don't even care what size you actually are, or they haven't taken the time to look, or maybe they didn't even take the time to look at whatever it was that they were picking out because they were just so quickly trying to spend as little time, as little money, and as little effort as possible in this. Or it might be some little subtle message like, you're a tiny petite, but I'm going to give you a large because I'm going to give you give myself the opportunity to devalue you and make, you think that I think that you're fat, and, kind of give me an opportunity to call you, something without actually saying it. So, giving you something that's not your size, something like that, because, they love passive aggressiveness, especially the covert narcissist. And if you want to know more about how covert narcissists attack, check out my video on the attack of the covert narcissist, but passive aggression is definitely one of their favorite things to do. So by giving you something that's not quite your size, there's a little passive aggressive opportunity to dig at you. And the next one is a promise of a gift in the future. Narcissists are future fakers. If you want to know more about that, check out my video on future faking. But, they might even just show up with nothing for you at all and say, oh, it's because I have no money, I didn't have time, I tried to order something online, it didn't work, some other lie or whatever it is. And so they just show up with nothing, but you are supposed to be so enamored by the fact that they're going to give you something in the future, that they will do something for you amazing coming up. Next week we'll do this, or next month you'll have this. When this money comes in, I'll get you that. And that's supposed to be your fantastic gift. The truth of the matter is, even if they have no money at all, they could certainly write you a nice letter or do something for you. Rub your feet, little coupons for things that they can do for you or something like that, some kind of effort or thought put into the situation. But if it's just a promise of something in the future, that could be a really big red flag. The next one is regifting a gift from someone else. I actually saw this happen to someone where this person received a gift of a belt buckle and a belt that this person was obviously a re-gift, and they didn't even take the time to notice that the belt didn't fit into the buckle because they were just so into, I'm just going to re-gift this thing, and therefore I spent no time, no money, and no effort, and I hopefully get the credit for getting this person a gift. And the last one, drum roll please, is something that they know that you hate. How great is that for passive aggression? You hate chocolate? Well, here's a big, massive box of Godiva chocolates for you. Fabulous. You know I hate chocolate. Oh, no, I didn't like. You don't like my gift for you? Oh my gosh, I spent so much time. I spent so much money. Oh my God. And now they, poor babies, become the victims because you don't appreciate them. And it all becomes about that. And so don't you dare try to bring up the fact, why would you get me something that you know that I hate, right? So there they are, the dears. If you get any of these gifts during the holidays, then it may be a red flag that that person that you're with might be a narcissist. Okay. 5 red flags that you have received a gift from a narcissist, and make sure you watch till the end. Number 1, let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning of the relationship. The beginning is the love bombing phase, the love bombing. This is when they're trying to draw you in. They want to bring you in. They're trying to make sure that they get you. So you're going to see huge gifts, huge, massive gestures This is when they're trying to sweep you off your feet. So the red flags are massive gifts, sweep you off your feet gifts, unbelievable stuff, flowers that fill the room, things that blow you away, dinners every single night, things that your mind is blown. They show up at your house or office with things that you can't even believe. So thoughtful. Everything you could possibly imagine. Your mind is absolutely blown, but it doesn't last very long. So the love bombing phase, they make you dinner, foot rubs. I mean, if it's a business partner, they have brought you every possible client you can ever imagine. I can't even describe the gifts. It's perfect. It's massive gestures. It's out of control during the idealization or the love bomb phase. It's amazing and it doesn't last very long, but it's enough that your mind is blown and it sweeps you off your feet. You are in like Flynn. You're sold. They make sure that you are in. You're moved in, you're signed on the dotted line, whatever it is. They've got you. Once they have you, now they know you're a good source of supply. Now the conditioning starts. Now they're testing to make sure that you're that good source of supply. So the types of gifts that you'll see during this phase will be the cheapest thing that they could possibly get away with. It might be the bare minimum, the last minute, I ordered it, hasn't come yet. It's on its way. It's at my mother's house. I'm planning it. I had to work, but I'm putting something together. And there's always sort of this thing where you end up sort of making excuses for them because you had it so good during the love bomb and idealization phase that you kind of help make the excuses for them. You want it so bad to be good that you actually kind of help them along. And it's not good. It's not good, but you do. And plus you don't want the world to know that maybe things aren't as good as it should have been. Right? Or they might give you a picture of themselves or something that's like something of their shirt or their something, but it's meant to be like, oh, it's to remember them by or to bond you together or something. And you think it's all sweet and nice, but it's kind of like a little bit weird, but it's okay. Or it might be like their favorite thing or their favorite concert or their favorite restaurant. But you think it's kind of sweet and cute because, it's like they want to share it with you, even though it's not for you, really, you kind of still find yourself sort of making excuses for it because it's something they want to share with you. You sort of start wrapping your head around why it's all good because it's for you guys. It's for us. There's a way to kind of rationalize that it was a great gift in some way. Even though in your heart of hearts, in your gut, you sort of know it really wasn't the greatest, but you kind of figure out a way to sort of rationalize it in some way. But, it really wasn't as good as during the love bomb phase, but you kind of figure out a way to kind of, maybe, but, you sort of know it wasn't really the greatest. Or maybe they sort of forgot, but you kind of figure out a way to sort of rationalize it. All right. So that's the next sort of phase. And then it starts to get even worse and worse and worse as the devaluing goes on and on and on until you get to, you get past that discard phase, it gets even to the bottom. And then you're at the end of the relationship and you're done. And then it gets into the hoovering and the future faking. And then you get into the only really thing you get. At the end of the day, number 5, told you I saved the best for last. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for this one. Because, we all do at the end of the day because we want to so bad. The empty promise, the future fake. That's the gift. They show up empty-handed. The gift of the nothing, the gift that they're going to give you, the gift that I couldn't afford it, but it's going to happen, or I'm going to be better. You'll see. You're going to have everything you wanted. It's all going to be amazing. And you're going to have everything you deserved and everything you wanted. It's all going to happen in the future, especially if it's in the hoovering phase, meaning the discards happen. It's all 6 months down the road, 2 months down the road, even if it's, after. In the hoovering phase, it's definitely going to be better. Give me a chance, or maybe it's, it's going to be a trip. That's when it's going to be, you'll see. Give them a chance, give her a chance. And they go back into whatever they were able to say at the beginning to get you to see, charm you at the beginning, but without the gifts, of course. So that's the Hoover phase, the nothing but the empty promise at the end. So that's number 5. And I'm telling you, they are so good sometimes. Narcissists are very charming. That's how they get so far in life. So it does work a lot of the times, but not for you. You guys have seen it. I know you have. So 'tis the season. It's that time of year, the narcissist's favorite time of year. It's actually their least favorite time of year. Everybody else is making merry. They love this time of year. Everybody else is like, this is the best time of year. Narcissists hate this time of year. I'm pretty sure the Grinch was a definite narcissist, because this is the time of year that narcissists do not want anybody else to be getting attention, nor do they want to have to buy gifts for people. This is the time of year that they definitely create havoc for everybody else, and they certainly don't want to have to go buy things for other people unless, they're getting ready to love bomb somebody, which, then they will do, is number 1 on my list. And that is buy something, that makes a huge, massive statement, something that's flashy, something that's expensive, something that's, going to show everybody who they are. Narcissists will do things that they want everybody to see. So they will give gifts, but only if there's an audience for them, and they're going to get credit for it in some way. So, if it's somebody that's the object of their affections at that point, and they want something in return, then they will give some kind of gift in that way. But it's because, they're trying to manipulate that person into being in a relationship with them. Or they might be wooing somebody, but it's because they're trying to make somebody else jealous. Sometimes they're giving gifts over here because they're trying to do something with somebody over here. It's always some sort of a manipulation that's going on. So their gift giving is not because they're so generous, for sure. It's definitely to make a statement. A lot of times they're giving big flashy amounts to charity even, but again, it's to make some sort of statement. It's to let people know, look at how generous I am. Look at how wonderful I am, right? So they give gifts that are flashy, massive, some kind of statement to let the world know, let somebody know that, they are doing something. but it's to get credit for something. So that's the first type of gift giving that you'll see a narcissist engage in. The second type of gift giving that you will see a narcissist engage in is something that might be completely impractical, completely useless, completely like thoughtless, like an expensive something that just doesn't have anything to do with what the recipient might want, that the recipient might use, that has anything to do with what they are interested in, that they like, that has anything to do with anything. It just is, something that they just bought. And, it might be something that they thought that they might like or something to that effect. But, they just didn't put any thought into it. It's just impractical or useless in some way. So that is the next type of gift that you will see a narcissist potentially purchase. And the next type of gift that you will see a narcissist give is definitely something that will be something that they would want to receive for themselves, that they will also benefit from. So it might be tickets to some concert that they're going to get to go to, or some sporting event that they're going to get to go to, or some show that they're going to get to go to, some restaurant, something that they like, and they're going to get to go along with this person. So it has nothing to do with the recipient. It only has to do with them. The next type of gift that you might see them give is a picture of themselves or personalized something to the recipient that's engraved with something with themselves or something, so that the person who's receiving it has something of themselves in it. What's really weird about it is if it's, not even a romantic situation, it's like just a picture of this person or whatever. That's like the most strange one that I have seen in the past, believe me. The next type of gift that I have seen a narcissist give is like the last minute kind of a thing where it's just whatever, and they just don't even have a specific person in mind. It's just as impersonal as possible. The next type of gift that I've seen narcissists give is like the passive aggressive type of thing, where it's the wrong size, like it's a large and the person is definitely a small, or it's like from the clearance rack and it's as cheap as possible or something like that. The next type of gift that I have seen narcissists give is, attempts at bribes or manipulation, like they want to bribe somebody into being their friend or manipulate them into doing certain things for them, like signing contracts or swaying them into having a particular opinion about something, or like I've now done this for you. I've now given you this huge gift, so therefore you must do this for me, that sort of thing. Or I'm doing this for you, so therefore you should now talk me up. You should now see me as this type of a person. It's, that sort of manipulation. Just remember, thing about narcissists that you need to know is that they're inherently extremely selfish. They don't want to have to do anything for anybody else. So when it comes time to gift giving, I don't want to have to do this. It's definitely an obligation. I don't want to have to spend my time. I don't want to have to spend my money. So if I'm going to have to do this, there better be something in this for me. I better be getting something out of this. I'm going to spend as little time and as little money as possible. That's why a lot of times they will run in to the store at the last minute. They definitely see it as an obligation. So, they're going to be in the store at the last second, spending they want to kind of get as much credit as possible, but get away with doing as little as possible and spending as little as possible. So it's this balance with them with, how much can I get away with doing as little as possible, but looking as good as possible. So that's kind of what is going on in their mind at all times, but also, manipulating the situation into my benefit as much as I possibly can. So kind that's what's going on. It's like they're total fakers. If you agree with me, put fakers in the comments right now. They're total fakers, right? That's what's going on with narcissistic gift giving. And it's very sad. They don't understand what it means to actually get joy out of bringing joy to somebody else and enjoying the process of actually giving to somebody and enjoying the process of seeing somebody get happy when you give to that person, which is so sad, but it is the way it is. Right. So if you are dealing with a narcissist and you're receiving gifts from them, you know what it's like. There's something that's off. You can tell, you can feel it. It doesn't feel sincere. It doesn't feel like what a true gift should feel like. And if the hair on the back of your neck is standing up or your gut doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. So today we're going to cover gifts that are red flags of narcissists. Let me tell you, during the love bombing phase, you can expect to be showered with gifts of all sorts. The narcissist is going to seem like they're really thoughtful, that they're kind, that they're generous. And in the beginning, that's probably true. But once that love bombing phase is over, you can expect different types of gifts. You can expect gifts that maybe you don't even want, maybe you didn't ask for, maybe it's just like no thought put into it whatsoever. So here are some gifts that could be red flags that you are dealing with a narcissist. Number one is exercise equipment. I actually had a cousin who, her ex-husband, they're now divorced, so to the surprise of no one, actually gave her like an abdominizer or something to like tighten her abs because he was like a hint. This was a long time ago, but I don't even think those things exist anymore, but it's an abdominizer is, supposed to help you tone your abs. And it's a perfect example of a narcissist giving you something that's basically like a hint, like, oh, you could look a little bit better. I want you to be a little bit in better shape. And they give you a gym membership or something like that. It's not something that you would have wanted. It's not perceived as generous. They're using the opportunity to devalue you. A gym membership or a Peloton might be what you wanted, but maybe not. So if you never dropped hints about wanting exercise equipment of any kind, it's probably a sign that you're dealing with a narcissist. The next thing is their favorite thing. All right. So another sign that you might be dealing with a narcissist is you get a gift that the narcissist potentially wants for him or herself. So it might be tickets to their favorite musician or band, or a gift certificate to their favorite restaurant. Unless a narcissist knows that they're going to be seeing a return on their investment, they just don't want to have to give up their supply. They're inherently very, very selfish people. So gift giving is seen to them as an obligation, right? It's something they have to do in order to continue getting supply, in order to save face, because they know that they're supposed to do it. So a gift to the narcissist is often disguised, or maybe even not so disguised, as a thoughtful and generous gift to whoever is receiving it. But it's very often something that is a perfect way for them to shower themselves in a gift, right? This is how the narcissist mind works. Pretty crazy. Okay, another big red flag is a photo of themselves. I've seen this before in certain situations. It's a very odd kind of a thing. I mean, maybe it's supposed to be thoughtful or cute or whatever, but it's really meant to keep your attention on them. And it's usually disguised under the love bombing efforts, or it's meant to maybe make a connection with you in some way, but it's really meant to boost their ego. And then also, if you display it, then everybody knows how much you adore them and love them. Very classically narcissist. The next thing is like a sale item or a clearance item, something that they got for, super cheap or whatever. They'll intentionally purchase things on sale or super clearance, even if they don't have to, even if they have plenty of money. They don't want to have to give you a gift at all. So spending more than the bare minimum is not what they want to do. So they know they have to show up with something, otherwise they're going to look bad, but they just put in minimal effort and as little money as possible into getting whatever they need to get. So they don't want to have to think about what the other person is really going to want. They just want to look good in the process. Another thing is the wrong size. So sometimes it might be a hint, like they get you a large when they know that you're a small. It might be just to put you down, to devalue you in that way. Or they might get you something that's too small, knowing that it's going to be too small, because then it would potentially look bad on you, especially if you're feeling insecure about your weight. They're going to address this intentionally by purchasing a size that's off from what you actually are. It's definitely something to expect from a covert narcissist, because they're experts at passive aggressive devaluing. If you guys have dealt with this, I'm just going to tell you, just say thank you, no thank you in the comments. All right, just thank you, but no thank you, because this is not something that you need in your life. And if you are dealing with this, make sure you join my free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung, and also get my free Crush My Negotiation Prep Playbook, because you're probably going to need it, especially going into the new year. All right. So the other thing is empty promises. So they might just show up empty-handed completely and nothing at all other than a promise of a gift in the future. So, remember, they're good at future faking. So what they do is they say, well, I can't afford to get you anything right now, but I'm going to get you something better down the road. Or they might say, I ordered something for you in the mail. It hasn't come yet. And they probably just ordered it that day, or they haven't even ordered it yet. So it's a way to push you off, and then also devalue you in the process, because they're showing how little they think of you by not getting you anything on time, right? And then the final thing is regifting. Regifting in and of itself isn't bad, but some gifts are better suited for a different recipient. And they obviously sometimes regift things like half-used perfume. I've seen that. I've seen, old books that are clearly yellowing and they try to pass it off as brand new. It's just the lack of thoughtfulness and the lack of care about the recipient who is receiving the gifts. They don't think about the impact. They only think about themselves. And they want to put in as little money, time, energy, and effort as possible into doing something for you, as you know. So, and what's really crazy is if you have a reaction that's like less than, oh my God, so delighted and so happy, then they step into the role of playing the victim, right? How could you not appreciate me? How could you not I put so much thought into this, so much effort, whatever it is, like now they're going to be the victim of it. So be aware of this and understand who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with, and just receive the gift for whatever it is, and try not to engage any further into their potential toxicity, because it's not going to get you anywhere. All right. So those are some of the gifts that are red flags of narcissists. I would love to know what other gifts you have seen that are potentially red flags of narcissism.
All right, so let's talk about the covert, stealth, pretty evil, passive aggressive narcissist, and they're quietly cruel. It's not like that grandiose narcissist that's out there. Everybody knows about the grandiose narcissist. They tell everybody they're a narcissist. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. They announce themselves when they come into a room, when they come into a space. Everybody hears it. Not the covert, quiet, cruel, passive aggressive one. Everybody thinks that they are wonderful, kind, amazing. These are the ones that are often humanitarians, lawyers, doctors, ministers. These are the ones that are often very charming to the rest of the world. Everybody thinks they're so wonderful, kind. This is why you think that you're going crazy. Because when you try to tell people about what's going on, it's really hard to put into words, because it's so tiny, it's so microscopic, and so little bits at a time that it's almost, like making you go crazy, like a little. It's almost like that drip on your head, just a little at a time. I've been exactly where you are. Believe me, it's so torturous. It's so horrible. And they use silence to erase your feelings many times in a number of ways. Other tactics like passive aggression, the types of tactics that they use employ something that we call plausible deniability. And what that means is that there's a way to just sort of go, it wasn't me. I didn't do that. Oh, I didn't mean it that way. So that they can keep their hands clean, keep themselves looking fresh, looking innocent. I didn't have anything to do. I didn't mean it that way. What are you talking about? No idea. What? Oh my gosh. I can't believe you would think that of me. Oh, what? Like that. When you know exactly what's going on, and they know exactly what's going on, and they know that you know exactly what's going on, but nobody else does. And that's the maddening, crushingly cruel piece of it. And that's why it drives everybody crazy. You especially, it drives you crazy. Let's talk about the quiet cruelty of that passive aggressive narcissist, shall we? So they use silence to erase your feelings, for one thing, in a number of ways. For example, they won't respond to your texts. So they'll say something to you, but not respond back. So, for example, you'll have a conversation with them about, hey, it's not convenient for you to be texting me during this particular time. Please don't do that. And so they'll punish you by not texting you at all for other times when they know it's meaningful to you. They'll just not text you at all at times when they know you want them to punish you. So they use silence to erase your feelings. Or they'll send you texts that they know are inflammatory, like, what are you doing at this place? And you'll write back and you'll say, you knew that I was going to be here, and you're upset about this questioning, And so you write them back immediately, and then they don't respond. And you know that they've read it, and you know that they're there, and you know that they purposely do that to punish you, that sort of thing. They will purposely not ask about your feelings. So they'll use silence to also punish you by not asking you about your feelings. You know, they can see that you're upset about something, or they can see that you're not feeling well or cold or something like that. And they'll purposely not ask about it, not notice it, even though they know that that's something that you want. They purposely don't give you what you want. They use silence to punish you, to be cruel, and not give you the things that they know that you want by using silence. You know, they'll go to the store and not ask you if you want something. And you'll say, "Why didn't you ask me if I wanted anything?" "Oh, I didn't know that you wanted me to," or something to that effect. It's such a small thing. So it's like, but you know that they were doing that to punish you, something to that effect. Or you'll ask them to get you something while they were at the store, and they'll purposely forget the things that you asked them to get. But, you know, if you tell somebody about it, they'll be like, "Oh, well, maybe it was inadvertent," but you know that it wasn't, things to that effect. They'll purposely twist your words just to punish you. You'll say something and then they purposely twist your words to punish you. And, you know that that's not what you said, but they twist your words on purpose. There's this undercurrent of competition, this undercurrent of hostility, this undercurrent of resentment, these little passive aggressive ways of saying things. They will oftentimes, if you ask them to do something, they'll say yes, that they will do it, and then they just simply don't. And so you're left asking them when they're going to, you have to follow up. And then they will either claim ignorance. "Oh, we didn't talk about that," or, "Oh, we talked about it was going to be a different thing," and they claim ignorance about it, or they will do a lousy job, or they will underperform when you call them out on it, but they act like, "Oh, this is what we talked about." And they'll be nice about it, but it's like this quiet, like undervaluing of you, this devaluing of you, but it's very, very subtle, very subtle. They don't say anything directly, so they withhold information, especially if it's going to help you. And then you find out later that they were withholding information that could have helped you on something. They will exclude you. And oftentimes you find out later that they excluded you from something, but they will claim that they just forgot or didn't realize, something like that. There's just this underhanded thing that's going on. And if you've seen this, give me a yes in the comments. Comment some other things that you guys have seen as well. Would love to know what your thoughts are on this. Some of the other things that they will do is they'll say things that are sort of underhanded as well. So, for example, they might say something like, "Oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight. How great for you. Oh my gosh, too bad about the stretch marks though." Like it's almost like they give you a compliment, but not really. Oh, that's so exciting that you get to work with that amazing person that I know you've been wanting to work with. I mean, I've never heard of them until you mentioned them, but I know you think they're a big deal. So congratulations to you on that. It's like this underhanded like thing, right, that they give you. So it's just that sort of thing, this quiet cruelty that you get with covert passive aggressive narcissists. And believe me, I had a covert passive aggressive narcissist business partner, so I know all about how it is when you deal with them, and it literally drives you absolutely crazy, and you end up losing sleep at night, and you start to feel sick. That is why I ended up doing what I'm doing here right now. And so in some ways, I guess I should thank the person, but I know how it is. So believe me, you are not alone, but they do end up destroying themselves. Okay, so what are the types of insults that you hear in a narcissistic relationship? All right, so I'm going to give you a whole bunch of them, and I'm going to save the best one till the end. Like, I'm going to give you 9 of them. So number one is, who else would love you the way that I would? Or who else would want you? And it's like so backhanded. They tell you they love you, and they start off with love bombing, and they start off with how wonderful you are and how amazing you are, and you're so gorgeous and handsome or sexy or fantastic. Even in a business relationship, because I was in a business relationship with a narcissist, and they start off like where you're just the most charming, sexy, amazing, wonderful, blah, 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 blah. And then they start insulting you. They start devaluing you. They start saying like, no one else thinks that you're amazing. Nobody else would love you the way I would. Who else would want you? So they start like isolating you in that way. So that's number one. It's like sort of backhanded thing. It's like, I love you, but no one else would. All right. So that's number one. Number two is, don't say anything to embarrass me. So you're like walking into a party, you're walking into a function, and you're like all happy, you're fine, life is good. And then all of a sudden they say this thing like, don't say anything to embarrass me. Why would I say anything to embarrass you? Maybe they think you're stupid. Maybe they think that you don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, they say, don't say anything to embarrass me. So like now you're like worried about what it is that's going to come out of your mouth because you're afraid that you're going to say something to embarrass them. Maybe you're going to a work function with them or something like that, and you're worried that you're going to say something that might embarrass them. So that's number two. Number three is they'll say, you have no idea what you're talking about. Or they might just out and out, just flat out say that you're stupid, or that you're an idiot. They either will say that you have no idea what you're talking about, or that you're just flat out stupid. And so that's the next one. And then the next one is that you're just worthless. They'll say this in a number of different ways, like that you're just terrible with money, or that you're a terrible driver, or that you're just worthless when it comes to doing something, or that you're horrible at cleaning. They'll tell you that you're worthless, but they may not come right out and say it in that specific way. But in so many ways, you get the sense that they think that you're worthless. So that's number four. Similarly, I have a video on the narcissist's favorite catchphrases, which you could definitely check out. And, that's another one of my videos. And I do want you to put a mantra in the comments below, which is, I will not listen to their lies, because this is all a bunch of lies. And I want you to understand that this is just a bunch of their projection and deflection. They are projecting their own sense of no self-worth onto you. They are very empty inside, and people treat other people the way they feel about themselves. Hurt people. They have no sense of self. They have no sense of self-worth. And so they are projecting this bunch of crap onto you. And so I do want you to understand that the reason why they are emotionally abusive, which is what this is because they are hurting inside. So don't take this on. All right. So we're only halfway through, but I do want to stop and just say this, because don't take this on. This has nothing to do with you. This only has to do with them. All right. So number 5 is that other person is more attractive, thinner, smarter, younger looking, whatever. I mean, so they'll compare you to somebody else and make you feel like less because that other person looks better than you in some way. All right. They'll just make a comment about how you look less good than somebody else. So that's number 5. Number 6 is something about your family. They'll say, your family is stupid, your family is trash, your family is messed up in some way, your family is bipolar, your family has issues, your family is dysfunctional, uneducated, horrible, whatever, a bunch of degenerates, losers. They'll say things about your family because a lot of times they were trying to actually isolate you from your family. So they'll say things about your family. Maybe they'll call your family a bunch of narcissists. Your family hates you. Your family is awful, that sort of thing. So that's the next one. Number 7 is I never loved you. I never loved you. I never cared about you. I was just using you. That's a really hurtful one now, isn't it? I mean, the truth of the matter is they don't have the ability to even love themselves. So again, you can't take this stuff personally. It's so hurtful. I mean, they can be so hurtful. And they may even say something like, I was never attracted to you. I never wanted you. They can be so awful, but they may say something like that too. Number 8, they may say something like, if you had shown me enough attention sexually, if you had shown me enough care, love, whatever, then I wouldn't have cheated on you. In other words, I cheated on you because you made me, because you didn't give me enough sex, because you didn't give me enough physical attention, something like that. And they blame you for the fact that they went out and cheated. Definitely seen this a lot as a divorce attorney. Just don't allow them to put that on you. And the other one that's actually very similar to this is that you caused me to be an addict. Your behavior caused me to become a drug addict, an alcoholic, or something like that. Don't allow them to put that on you. And the last one is your career is a joke. You don't make enough money. You are inadequate. You're a horrible provider, all that sort of thing. And this is especially horrible for men, by the way. It's a much worse insult for men. I've definitely seen that. It definitely can erode at the marriage. And, when you're not respected in the relationship, it's horrible. And I always say there's the 3 A's that erode at the marriage: abuse, addiction, and adultery. And when you have even one of these, then you can't stay married to a person usually, because it just erodes away at the foundation of a relationship. And abuse, even if it's emotional abuse, is abuse. And when you're married to a narcissist, it's constant abuse. I want you to have the secrets that narcissists use to insult you, because I'm sick of them insulting you. I'm sick of them having the underhanded tactics and you not having the tactics, because I've watched them. I've watched them get away with it. I've watched them smear people. I've watched them put people down for long enough. And so I've decided I want to put the power in your hands for a change. I want you to be the warrior. I want you to have the tools and the resources that you need to break free. So one of the things that they do is gaslighting, and gaslighting can come in so many forms. I mean, people talk about gaslighting, but when I wrote my book, Slay the Bully, How to Negotiate with a Narcissist and Win, and I started researching all the different kinds of gaslighting, I realized that I could have written an entire book just on gaslighting because I didn't realize how many types of gaslighting there were. I mean, it's so insidious. It's so toxic. It literally is one of the worst, most emotionally and mentally abusive forms of insults that a narcissist can use. And all types of narcissists do use it. So what they do is they try to make you think that you're crazy. They try to just basically say that what you're seeing and what you're hearing and what you actually is happening right in front of your face isn't happening. They literally just lie right to you, or they try to get you to think that your own senses are not something to be believed. So they might say there's the suspicious text messages. It appear to be like there's a inappropriate relationship going on between your spouse and somebody at work. Okay. They look flirtatious. And you say, I want to talk to you about these inappropriate text messages. And they say, oh, you're reading too much into it. You're overly sensitive. That's a form of gaslighting. Another form of gaslighting might be, though, I'm going away with the guys this weekend, and you say, oh, it's our anniversary weekend. And they say, oh, well, we talked about that and you agreed. Don't you remember? And you never had that conversation. So another form of gaslighting might be that you have a business partner and you and your business partner agreed to have certain type of an agreement to take on certain types of clients, but not other types of clients. And then they bring on a client that you very clearly said you weren't going to take on. And they say, oh, well, I thought we said that we were only going to take on that type of client if that didn't happen. And you say, no, we didn't say that. We only said this. What they do is they take parts of conversations, they weave it so that they purposely make it seem like it was very easily believable that it could be misconstrued in that way. And then you start to go, well, maybe we did have a conversation that way, or maybe it is possible that it could be misconstrued in that way. Like they're very good at spinning a yarn that way. And so that when somebody else hears it or takes that, they could go, well, maybe they did take it that way, or that's very plausible that it could be like that. Nobody would ever think that they didn't see it like that. That's another form of gaslighting. That's very, very underhanded, the kinds of things that they do. And another way that they'll use to insult you is they might say something like, that is a great job for you. You're such a steady person. You don't like a lot of risk. So a good steady job is good for you. That kind of sounds like an insult. And that's the kind of thing that they might say. Or they might say, well, I was just joking. It was pretty much a joke anyway. Again, that's gaslighting. Things that they'll say to just kind of insult you. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed here and become part of our growing community, I invite you to do that now. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, because your growing support means a growing community here, which means growing for all of us. And by the way, if you guys have seen any of this so far, give me a yes in the comments below and share what your experiences have been, because that also helps everybody here. The next thing that they'll do is a form of verbal attack. Go right after your self-worth, go right after you to maintain control. Obviously, they want to maintain control. And so they might say things that make you question your ability. Let's say you want to start a business. And they'll say things like, I don't know that you can do that. I mean, you've never done anything like that before. Are you sure that you have what it takes? Are you sure you know what you're getting into? You end up questioning yourself. Or they might even say, are you sure you know who you're getting involved with? They're underhanded tactics that end up insulting you, belittling remarks, surgical precision, and they leave you like reeling in their wake a lot of times. Then when you try to say something to them about it, they'll be like, oh, I'm not engaging this conversation. I was just concerned for you. Again, gaslighting. The next underhanded tactic, and again, an underhanded tactic, we're talking about underhanded tactics, is silent treatment. They will launch into you with something with, like, let's say it's a text message. They'll send you some kind of inflammatory text message, and then you go to respond right away. And what will they do? Not respond back, ignore you, withhold affection, give you the cold shoulder. It's a way of manipulating your emotions and asserting their dominance so that you can't get that validation. You can't have that conversation back. Their need for that control, their need to have power over you is fulfilled. Now they know that you're sucked in and you're over there stewing and you're over there wondering what's happening. You cannot allow that narcissist to have that power over you. You cannot allow them to suck that soul from you in that way. For one thing, you've got to prioritize your self-care. Okay, so let's talk about the 8 reasons why narcissists sabotage those holidays. Well, number 1, as we know, they love to make everything about themselves. Yeah, well, that's the narcissist MO, right? I mean, they feel very empty inside. I know it seems like they want everybody to think that they feel great about themselves, but the truth of the matter is they feel very empty inside. So they want to make everything about themselves, and holidays are not about themselves, right? So they definitely want to sabotage anything that's not about themselves. Number 2 is that it's a great opportunity to manipulate people because there are a lot of plans being made, and that means lots of opportunities that they can, work their little magic, their little opportunities to manipulate, opportunities to sabotage, put themselves in the middle, cause problems. Really, really great for the coverts out there. My husband and I have a covert narcissist in our family, unfortunately, and this person loves to do that kind of thing. I mean, it's really, really sad because unfortunately, I think that they would really like to actually have a good relationship, but they just don't know. It's like haters are going to hate, lovers are going to love, manipulators are going to manipulate. That's what they do. They just don't know any other way of being. So when they see opportunities to manipulate, they're going to manipulate. And when people are making plans, there's an opportunity to manipulate. So you can't be surprised when they act like themselves. That's what I say all the time. Don't be surprised when narcissists act like themselves. That's what they do. All right, number 3, they want the best for who? For themselves. Absolutely. They want the best for themselves, and they can never be satisfied for less than what they want for themselves. What's holidays about? Not them, right? Number 4, what do they love to do? Well, they love to guilt trip you. This is a great opportunity to guilt trip you into spending time with you. It's your duty. You have to spend time with me, especially as a family member or a friend or something like that. When you talk about sabotaging holidays, there's a great opportunity for that. Number 5, narcissists hate obligations. They don't want to have responsibilities to people. They want you to have all the responsibility to them. Absolutely. All about me. But when it comes to shifting that and having it back to you, oh no. They think of you as a possession. I think of it as jars on a shelf or something like that. And so they don't want to have this obligation of caring for other people, right? And I actually have a whole video on signs of narcissistic gift giving. This is a good time of year to check out that video as well. So definitely check that out. But they don't want to have that obligation. So that's number 5. Number 6 is they just hate having that attention diverted away from them. And clearly, that's what holidays are all about. Other people giving, especially giving to the poor, charity. Oh my goodness, they really hate charity and giving to the poor, giving to others, thinking about how to take care of other people. I mean, that's what a lot of holidays are about. And they certainly don't want to have to think about that. So that's number 6. Number 7 is they ruin holidays because any attention is good attention, right? So even if it means causing drama, trauma, and chaos, that means they get attention. So that means they get supply. So that's good. Even if they're getting bad attention, they're getting attention. And no attention means that they're not significant. That's the worst possible thing. So they can sometimes be ruining holidays on purpose because they're getting bad attention. And by the way, if you've seen any of these so far, give me a for sure in the comments, or give me an example of the kinds of ways that you guys have seen narcissists ruin holidays. You know that you guys have seen it, I'm sure. So, and number 8 is that they rather ruin a holiday than ruin a regular day because it's a heightened day of attention. It's actually a great day to ruin. It's a heightened day of attention for things going on. So it's like, wow, all of this stuff is going on. So what a perfect day to get attention for themselves. Everything is happening. People are a bustle. As I said, good attention, bad attention, but especially because it means a lot to a lot of other people. That's a great opportunity to get attention for themselves. So it means that it's more significant for others. So it would be more significant to get attention for themselves or something like that. I mean, that's why you see people who really want to mean something, who have no significance whatsoever. They'll come along and they'll attempt to assassinate a celebrity or something like that because they're so desperate to just mean something in their lives. And by doing something to a celebrity, they get attention. And so that's what you see with narcissists. They're just so desperate to have any kind of significance whatsoever because they feel so desperately empty inside. They have no inner sense of self. They are the most deeply insecure people that exist on the planet. And so when you are going to negotiate with them, that is the type of personality that you are dealing with. And that is why it is extremely different than dealing with a regular type of personality. And so you cannot think that the regular rules of negotiation are going to apply and work.
Right. So let's talk about the dangling carrot. So, what does that mean? Like, you just think about like the little rabbit and like the rabbit's trying to get it. And like every time he gets near it, like it's like gone, right? Or you can do that like with your little kitty too, right? You've got your little yarn and what's happening there? It's a way to control that cat or rabbit or you, depending on who it is. It's a way of also sort of making the other person squirm and just kind of keeping that person at bay, keeping that person in a stranglehold, right? So how do they dangle carrots? Well, the first way that they dangle the little carrot is through the love bombing, in the love bombing stage. That's where they kind of hold it out to you that look at this amazing thing that you're getting by having this person enter into your life, because they're so wonderful. They're so charismatic. They're really, really experts at reading people. And if you want to know more why narcissists are experts at reading people, check out my video on that topic. But they really, really are experts at reading people. So they're excellent at the beginning of reading what's going to seem perfect for you. So, if you are a business person and this person is setting themselves up to be your business partner, then they are perfect for you in every way. They've got the exact skill set that you need. They've got the exact background that you need. They've got the contacts that you want. And, suddenly they're moving on in. And what do? They dangle a carrot. Once we are business partners, I will be able to introduce you to all of these people. Once we are business partners, I will be handling all of this other stuff, and it's going to make it so much easier for you. If it's a romantic relationship, it's dangling the carrot of marriage, or dangling the carrot of a vacation, or dangling the carrot of, what a life will be like at some point. Something like that. When we get to this, when I get divorced, when this happens, then this will happen. That's the love bombing. That's like early on. Okay. So then the next stage of dangling the carrot might be when you're upset with them and you are saying, I noticed that you did this. I saw this text on your phone. I noticed that there's money missing out of the business account, whatever it is that you're upset with them about, or you caught them in something. Now they're trying to talk their way out of it. So how do they do that? Well, they try to go back to the love bombing thing, or they just start future faking. So future faking is another way of dangling a carrot. It's, from now on, this is how it's going to be. I'm never going to not appreciate you ever again. I'm never going to take advantage of you ever again. The way it's going to look from now on is going to be amazing. The past is past. Now we're here. Let's just look to the future. Just forget about all of that. They don't want you to ever have to bring it up again. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to have to take responsibility for it. They don't want to have to be reminded of the impact of whatever their behavior was. They don't want to hear about it. We're just going forward now. New year, new time. So, that's another way of dangling a carrot in front of you. And you see this a lot of times, by the way, in a negotiation. So in a negotiation, how it might look is moving the goalposts. If you want to know more about moving the goalposts, check out my video on that exact topic. But in a negotiation, you'll see them promise something. They'll dangle it out there. They'll say, listen, if you agree to this, then I will do this. So you go ahead and agree to do that thing, whatever it was. And now you've agreed to that, but they're not agreeing to your thing. And they of course blame it on you then. Oh, we can't do that now because you took too long to respond, or because you changed the game in some way, or because now you're living over here, or because now you talk to that person, or whatever. It's always your fault. And that's why they no longer can do that thing. They can no longer. So they dangled the carrot to get you to agree to that thing. And then when you try to go back to get whatever it was that you thought you were getting in return, it's gone. So that's what they call moving the goalposts. And if you are so ready to have that narcissist get that carrot out of your face, just get that out of my face in the comments below. I want to see, get that out of my face down below. All right, so let's talk about another way that they dangle the carrot, and that is something that's called hoovering. And if you want to know more about hoovering specifically, I have a video on that topic specifically. But in a dangling the carrot situation, what's going to happen is, and specifically in the context of negotiation, is you might start to be getting some leverage. You're starting to see some ground. You're starting to maybe get somewhere. I had a situation where the ex-husband had always been jerked around by the ex-wife constantly. He was just like, and it was like his new wife was absolutely going crazy about it, because it was like basically wrecking his new marriage, because his ex-wife was just driving them absolutely insane. And I remember like that she found out that he was going to be filing a motion for modification. And she sends this email like, bring it. Yeah, I know you're coming, and I'm going to smack you down, and like all this like smack talk, right? Which of course sent him and his new wife like into a tizzy. Like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? What's she going to do? Blah, 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 blah. So by the time we gained ground, we started to gain leverage. Now all of a sudden she's like, oh, why are you doing this? Why don't we just meet? Why can't we just talk? They happen to run into each other at a meeting for one of their kids. And afterwards she corners him. Oh, we've always been able to get along. If you agree to this, then I'll drop this part. So what's she doing? She's dangling that carrot. She's out there going, oh, come on, you don't want to do this. Like, if you do this, then, I'll do this. And so she was dangling a carrot out there for him. But, by that time, at that point, he was like, yeah, no, thank you. I'm good. You can sign the agreement as is, or I'm going to court. But that was like her little way of hoovering. Like, let me try to play on your sympathies. Let me try to play on your emotions. Let me try to, do whatever I can to try to control you again the way I used to be able to, right? So that's an example of hoovering. Hoovering can also just be like, I haven't heard from you in so long, and now all of a sudden there you are, like sending me a text message in the middle of the night out of nowhere. Why is that? Maybe they want to like, dangle some sort of carrot in front of you there. Like, oh, hey, don't you want to come back? You must miss me so much, right? And you just like, yeah, no, block. That's where you just do block. And anyway, so those are some ways that narcissists dangle carrots in front of people to try to like control them. And also it's a way to see people squirm and manipulate them. So it's all a tactic that they use in regular everyday life. They certainly use it in negotiation too. During the discard phase of the relationship, that's when you start to see the birth of the smear campaign, and all this stuff starts happening. And once that starts happening, that's when you've got to be ready with your leverage. You've got to have your strategy ready to go. You've got to have your documentation so that you are super strategic about how to fight back against it. But once you see that, then you're going to start to know, like, oh, I know what you're doing. I see what's happening with you, and you're not going to buy into it anymore. So that's going to help you feel so much stronger and so much more empowered.
Narcissistic phrases used to future fake you. What is future faking? For one thing, this is a super common tactic used by narcissists. They future fake you in a lot of different ways. This is to get people to do things. This is like a carrot. And by the way, it doesn't have to just be in a romantic relationship. This could be at work too. But it's basically a promise of a fake future. It's like, I'm not going to have to do anything for you now. It's to get you to do something later. It reminds me of, it's like, I don't know if Seinfeld is kind of an old show now, but when he was renting a car and he gets to the car place and there's no car. And he says, that's the key. The key to the car is in the holding. And he's like, anybody could just take the reservations. The key is in the holding. Well, that's kind of the same thing here with the future faking. It's like they'll just take the reservations, they'll just do it, but they don't actually execute, right? They don't actually plan to execute. They just say whatever to get you to, hang on or do the things that they want you to do. And because they lack empathy, they don't really care that they don't plan to follow through. They don't really think about the fact that they might be causing you later hurt, later pain. All they care is the fact that their needs are going to be met in that moment, that they're going to continue to control you. So how it happens is a number of different ways. In a romantic situation, it can be, I'm going to marry you. And if we get married or if we stay together, I'm going to take you on massive trips. Look how many things we have in common. We're going to have this amazing life together. We will have beautiful children. Look at how our life is going to be for the rest of our lives. That sort of thing. That's the love bombing phase. If it's in a work situation, you will have all of the things that you want. We will have breaks all the time. You will get to have all the gender committees that you want to have, or you will have whatever it is that you want. You will get to take the vacations that you want to take. You will get to have the office that you want to have. You get the idea. Future faking. Then after the relationship is over, for example, they might come back, what they call hoover you, to try to suck you back in like a vacuum. And this is when they might say things like, I have changed. Wait till you see. I will go to therapy and you will see how different life will be with me now. You will be able to see how much the future will be so much different now. Give me a shot, that sort of thing. So, they might ask you to give them another try. Dangling more empty promises, and they try to wear you down and wear you down and wear you down like that. If you happen to be in a romantic relationship and you're fighting with them, they might say, you'll see that I will start helping around the house more. I will start doing the laundry more. I will start bringing in more income. I will start spending more time with you. I will plan date nights. They might even do these things for a week or two or a month or 6 months or whatever it is. Do they actually mean them at the time that they say them? I don't know, but they certainly don't ever follow through. For a job situation, if you are looking around, they might entice you to stay by promising you certain things, and then you plan to stay and then they don't follow through. They might also entice you by having you talk about things that you want to do, or just in general, future things like that. The whole idea of it is to string you along, to try to control you. It's a manipulation tactic that they don't necessarily ever plan to follow through on. And then you feel misled down the road when you try to hold them to these things. Then they end up lashing out at you. They end up angry at you. They'll actually end up turning the tables on you, saying, well, then you didn't do this or you didn't do that. They will end up wanting to change the subject. They'll end up saying that there were other things that were at play. They're not certainly going to want to be held to whatever it was. And it'll end up being a conversation that'll be had over and over again. And the bottom line is that as far as they're concerned, you stayed anyway. And so they will not feel like you leaving is ever a threat anyway. because the more you stay, they don't feel like they have to future figure with that particular thing anymore anyway. So, and by the way, I would love to know which ones you guys have seen. Put them in the comments. If you agree with me, put "so true" in the comments. I would love to know which other ones you guys have seen. Put them in the comments. And here's the thing I want you to recognize. It is a form of abuse. It is definitely a form of manipulation. It is definitely something that you need to recognize as a symptom of narcissism, for sure. This is not a sign of a healthy relationship. This is a relationship that is out of integrity. You know, a person who is in integrity sits down with you and says, yes, I care about you and I want to do these things for you, and then sticks to their promises and does these things and wants to be in healthy relationship and in healthy communication with you. People who continue to work together. If you're not continuing to see that from a person, then this is not a person who is listening to you. And that means that this is something that you need to take a hard look at. That means that you need to maybe take a look at other symptoms, other things that might be going on, and you might need to get some help and support in other ways.